My daughter mentioned her tooth was hurting. That's how it began. Something so small, so ordinary. As a father, your instincts kick in without hesitation. Protect, solve, provide. So I did what any dad would do. I called the dentist and scheduled the soonest appointment available. Simple. Routine. But then my wife, who rarely showed interest in these things, suddenly insisted on coming along. She agreed too quickly. Her smile felt off. Tight. Rehearsed. I caught it, but said nothing. Just nodded and let it pass. At the clinic, Dr. Karim welcomed us with his usual warm demeanor, but something flickered in his eyes when he glanced at my wife. Not once. Several times. He tried to focus, but I saw the slight tremble in his hands as he asked my daughter to open her mouth. When my wife spoke, his voice cracked. The entire atmosphere in that room shifted. I felt it in my gut. Then came the moment I didn't see coming. As we were leaving, Dr. Karim casually reached out and took my hand in a firm shake, but leaned in close enough to whisper just 2 words. Pocket. Now. Inside the palm of my coat, I felt something. Folded paper, carefully hidden. I didn't pull it out until we were back home. I locked myself in the bathroom before opening it. 7 words stared back at me. Check the birthmark. It's not yours. The world didn't spin. It just stopped. I stood there, frozen. That child, my daughter, I'd held her the day she was born. I assembled her crib, painted her nursery walls. I stayed up through her night terrors and danced with her until she fell asleep again. I taught her how to tie her shoelaces. I was her dad in every sense that mattered. And now this. My fist clenched around that note, hands shaking. My breath came in shallow bursts. My thoughts spun into chaos. I remembered the mark on her shoulder, a light, faint shape on the left blade. Familiar. Real. And Karim. He wasn't guessing. He knew. I didn't cry. I didn't yell. Instead, I just stared into the mirror. My reflection looked foreign, cold, sharp, unreadable. Something in me didn't break. It shifted. It wasn't anger. It wasn't grief. It was clarity. For the next 72 hours, I played my part flawlessly. I made breakfast, told bedtime stories, dropped her off at school. The doting husband. The present father. But something inside me had already changed. I moved through our home like a ghost, more alert than ever before, observing everything with new eyes. And I began to see it. The late-night trips for groceries that didn't match the receipt times. Messages that vanished. Her phone always on silent. And the strangest part, how affectionate she suddenly became. Too affectionate. Random kisses, forced laughter, constant touch. As if she was trying to bury a truth too rotten to survive. She didn't realize that truth was already dead. I reached out to Dr. Karim. We met alone at his clinic after hours. He locked the doors behind me. His face was pale, remorseful. I didn't know how to say it, he confessed, but I couldn't stay silent anymore. He admitted she'd been bringing our daughter to see him 6 years ago. Then she began returning alone. Eventually, the visits had nothing to do with dental checkups. The relationship turned personal. He ended it when guilt overtook him. But it didn't end there. She threatened him, warned he'd lose his career, his license, everything. His own family begged him to stay quiet. She said she'd destroy him if he talked. But then he looked me in the eye. "She's your world," he said, voice trembling. "I couldn't let you keep living in the dark." When I walked out of that building, I wasn't just holding the truth, I was holding control. This wasn't going to be some emotional explosion. No screaming match. No begging. That would have been too kind. What I wanted was something colder, deeper, revenge with precision. I began with the money. quietly separated our bank accounts, consulted a lawyer, outlined everything, my suspicions, the emotional damage, the paternity doubts. She had no clue I was recording our conversations, saving every carefully crafted lie. And then I took the DNA test. Not for me. For her. I used strands from her hairbrush to run the test. 2 weeks later, the results arrived. 0.0% chance of paternity. The breath left my body, but I stood tall. No reaction. This next part wasn't about emotion. It was about strategy. I started to drop signs. A baby photo, flipped upside down on the edge of the dresser. A brochure for a family law office left casually by the toaster. A printed therapy schedule for children, one she'd never arranged. I didn't speak a word, but I saw it start to wear on her. Her fingers twitched when she thought I wasn't looking. She began checking my phone, searching through drawers, scanning every corner like the truth might jump out and bite her. She was unraveling on her own. Then came my final act. I told her I wanted a weekend getaway. Just the two of us. She jumped at the idea. Too quickly. Too eager. Like she thought she could patch the cracks with wine and lace. I booked a secluded cabin. Far from everything. Quiet. Isolated. She packed perfume, silk, a seductive apology dressed in intention. But I wasn't there for closure. I was there for the final reveal. That night, I handed her an envelope. She took it with a confused smile, expecting maybe a surprise. She unfolded the paper, scanned the lines, and then froze. Her color drained. Her lips parted once, twice, before any sound came out. "You planned this," she whispered. I gave her a single nod. 10 years. All of it built on deception. Her eyes brimmed with tears, but I remained still, unmoved. "I didn't mean to," she choked out. "You've lost the right to speak," I told her, voice even. She collapsed into the nearest chair, trembling. I walked to the door. "The paperwork is already filed," I added. "The authorities know about Kareem, about the threats, about how you tried to manipulate and silence him. You'll be served Monday. Custody hearings already on the calendar." She lunged forward, clinging to my arm, desperation in her eyes. "Please," she cried. "Don't take her away from me." I looked at her grip like it didn't belong. A dead thing hanging from a past life. "You stole her from me the moment you chose to lie," I said, my only rehearsed line. I meant every word. When the police arrived, she was folding laundry, hair tied back, no makeup, no defense. They read her rights while she looked at me, pleading in silence. I stood behind the officers, composed, watching the truth finally carry her out of my home. The court process, a formality. The evidence was undeniable. Her credibility crumbled. The judge didn't blink. No sympathy. No visitation. Full custody awarded to me. Now, it's just the two of us. Sometimes, my daughter asks where her mother went. I answer gently, some mistakes can't be undone. But I promise her she's safe now. She always will be. On the nights she falls asleep next to me, her tiny hand curled in my shirt, I stare up at the ceiling, thinking about how everything shifted because of one note, folded tight in a dentist's office. 7 words that burned through the lies and cleared the fog. This wasn't just revenge. It was truth. It was peace. It was her. And I've never looked back since.